more than 1,500 people, including hundreds of children, have lost their lives due to the devastating flooding in Pakistan, and millions have been displaced and been made homeless. Now, we've spoken on this programme about some of the fundraising efforts that have been ongoing locally to help the people who have been impacted. And now, wonderful news, £30,000 has been raised by the Hertfordshire Freemasons to be used for clean water and tents. Now, Neil Connolly is head of the Freemasonry in Hertfordshire, and he joins us on the line now. Good evening, Neil. Welcome to the show.
Good evening, Farzana. And you've had a result today with your football, I believe.
I know. Do you know what? I mean, I was screaming for 90 minutes. Not very professional. My voice is hoarse. I know, we don't often have much to sing about, but there you go. Now, look, this is absolutely amazing. First up, why did you choose to raise funds for the Pakistan flood victims?
Right, there's really it's really part of a general program that we've had really running within Freemasonry forever, because we look to provide just additional relief support anywhere around the world where there is a special need, and because we have access to funds, we were able to give that money really very directly. And when you saw what was happening in Pakistan, we've had some association with Pakistan in the past, and we may talk about that. Yeah. And it just seemed a logical thing to do. So, through the Red Cross and UNICEF, who have an in-country capability, we were able to make a decision and send that money to the point of need.
Absolutely brilliant. Yeah. You say you've had some connection there with Pakistan before. Would it be okay for you to kind of just tell us what that connection was?
Well, sure. I mean, obviously Pakistan formed part of a larger thing back in the old days, and we have lodges that were actually formed out in Pakistan. But this is going back into the 1800s, and then of course in 1971 they moved. They came back to the UK, and that connection has remained because people have still had associations either with family or businesses or otherwise out there. So there's been a connection, and in the particular lodge that I was at yesterday, there's still some of the members who speak Farsi and one or two other languages.
Oh wow, that's amazing. So
that's interesting.
That's very interesting. Are some of those old lodges still there? I mean, you say that members came back, kind of 1970s. Are some of those lodges still there?
No, unfortunately, Pakistan is one of the few countries where Freemasonry is not allowed to be practiced anymore. Right. So there's still an association because family ties and so on and so forth. But as far as an overt presence in these countries, we're unable to practice at the moment. But that doesn't preclude them from receiving aid through, obviously, NGOs and other organisations that want to provide it at the point of need.
Yeah, no, I mean, amazing amount you've raised. How did you manage to raise the funds?
Well, Masonry it's really about the whole way that the Masonic, I'll call it machine if you like, works. We all belong to our individual clubs, which we call lodges, and every time you go to a meeting you contribute money, and then that builds up a central pot, both at the lodge level, which can then be distributed on smaller projects, or then at a provincial level, which is like Hertfordshire, and then again at a national level, which is the Masonic Charitable Foundation, which really distributes to the larger sums of money, and that was sort of the way that this came through, was through that central larger pot that we all contribute to. So there's a cascading up the line of donations, and that's how it works.
Do you know, there's a lot of good, that the Freemasonry does. Now, producer Johnny mentioned that today some of you were on a sponsored walk for Mind as well. So, there's a lot of kind of putting back into the community, isn't there?
Well, we like to think so. We're all part of our local communities, and we all have things that touch us as individuals. It might be the Riding for the Disabled, it might be Mind, it might be a small local charity, or it can be something larger. And what we tend to try and do is, when dealing with the charities, to say to them, look, we could give you £200 or £500 or something like that. And that really doesn't go very far, doesn't do an awful lot of good work, shall we say. Yeah. But you might say to somebody, have you got a specific project? And then that captures the imagination. So it might be something like the Riding for the Disabled wanted 10 new winter coats for their horses in Digswell. So we were able to say, right, there's a little project, let's buy those. So there's those sorts of things. And today's thing for Mind, we have a club that we call the Light Blues Club for the younger Masons. That's not necessarily young in age, but younger in their Masonic career. And we did about a 10-mile walk today and just about dodged the rain. And that raised, just from the people that were on it, we raised about £700. So, it's just a nice little thing like that. And it's just that sort of activities just going on all the time.
Yeah, no, brilliant. Now, I've got to ask you, have you got many South Asian members at the moment in the Hertfordshire Freemasons?
Yes, there are. There's actually quite a few. And what you tend to find is you'll get somebody will join a particular lodge, and then he will bring along other members of his friends or family. Mm-hmm. And funnily enough, I went to one lodge fairly recently, which I hadn't been to for 20 years, and I would say 2/3 of the members of the lodge are now from the South Asian community. So Brilliant. It made it a really very fun and different meeting, because they obviously can bring their own piece of magic.
Magic and ideas, and it's kind of, it's the diversity that you bring as well. You bring something new to the table as well, don't you?
Very much so.
It's really nice that that's really welcoming.
Yes, I mean, what was interesting, there was a chap who's about 90 who was speaking Farsi with one of our newer members, who is only in his early 20s. So that was really nice to be able to just see two people with almost 7 decades in difference in age being able to chat away to each other. Yeah. And that I think is perhaps some of the magic that Mason brings, because we tend to keep with your social group and people who you are normally associated with. Yeah. So Freemasonry allows you to meet lots of different people from lots of different
Brilliant. Now, lastly, we've got a little bit of a theme going on this evening, not the football, but Diwali. So, I mean, do you guys ever celebrate events, such as Diwali and things?
Well, funnily enough, there's a Festival of Light going on at St Albans Abbey this week. I think it's from Wednesday through to Saturday, and we're providing some of the stewarding for that and helping with that. So yes, there's an association with all these sorts of things as well. I mean, the particular different specific religious festivals we tend not to celebrate, because we are non-religious in the organisation, although you have to believe in a God or supreme being. Mm-hmm. But we do get involved with things in supporting the local religious sort of community. So, for example, let's say there's a festival like this week, and we shall be there helping and supporting that. So do come along if anyone wants to go and see it.
Wow, hey, why not? Neil, it's been really lovely chatting to you. I've actually learnt something as well, which is always very, very good. Thank you so much. And thanks to everyone for raising such an incredible amount as well. You take care. Thanks very much. Neil Connolly there, who's head of Freemasonry in Hertfordshire. Amazing amount that they raised, £30,000 for the devastating flooding in Pakistan. So thank you to them.
Farzana Chaudry, BBC 3 Counties Radio.